Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is Things I've Learned with
Cancel! Cancel!
Tinker in 719. Tinker is a hero that kinda fell out of flavor during TI and the current meta. The hero does show up from time to time, but with Nimbus being a thing, Spectre being still relatively popular, only the players that are confident with the hero will play it. In this game, Tinker was the 9th pick, only to be greeted with a Storm, that by the way is Miracle playing. A lot of people consider Storm to be one of the hard counters to Tinker, and while that is true, we will see Kenso completely destroying this game without ever dying. The lane doesn't start well for Kenso. He gets behind in CS against Miracle quite fast, and is forced to commit laser to get CS constantly, which is not something you want to do. The laser is supposed to work as both harass and farm denier. Storm is a little bit different since he has the remnants to get CS, but it is very effective when he's trying to get range CS and is usually not that close to pop the remnant. That being said, we see a lot of small plays that Kenso goes for in the lane stage that allows him to pressure Miracle. The first one is always saving the skill point on Tinker. The ability to cancel selves easily with missile, or maybe defend yourself against a huge gank with March is unparalleled, but you only want to commit the skill point if you can make 100% use of it, because another situation might arise later where you need the other skill point. Another thing that Kenso does very well, not only here but when he was last hitting on the tower, is using the laser animation as his projectile hits a creep he wants to get. Obviously, this is not ideal, but when you're against heroes that have very fast attack animations or have a lot of base damage, this can be super useful. You can see that he has fallen behind pretty fast in experience thanks to Miracle Denies, so it's very important to do it on the range creep. Notice how he taunts the laser animation in case his right click was not enough. That's a cool little trick you can use if you feel that you're falling behind or if the enemy is just getting too many range denies against you. Here we can see him using the laser in a great manner. The lane is pushing and Miracle cannot commit the remnant to get CS because he's way too behind in HP. Using the laser like this is a great way to get ahead in lane. Now, the reason Kenso wins this game in my opinion is his kill build. Tinker can get countered by Storm pretty hard if all he's trying to do is farming. Usually, you see Tinkers getting 2 points in laser, maybe 2 points in missile if they have a lot of kill potential, but the emphasis on March and farming travels as fast as possible is common. The problem is that Storm's level 6 come way faster than the travels, and considering that you're spamming March in the jungle and thus using Soul Ring and the creeps are hitting you, you're just a very easy target for Storm and the rotations that will come from the supports. In high MMR games, people will ward your jungle, and it's just super easy for him to get to you. What Kenso does is very different from that. He skips Soul Ring since he's not going to be farming that much, and he maxes laser at level 7. Storm gets completely countered by the spell. In the late game, he will have BKB or enough mana to wait the laser wear out, but Miracle can't at level 7 dive Tinker if he gets hit by a level 4 laser. He will either completely disengage or die. In this clip here, you can see that he went 2-2-0, and thanks to Synderen he gets it done, while also saving his support with the bottle charges. Pretty good. Another great adaptation is the Raindrops that he buys. Usually, Tinker will not get a 1, will not get Raindrops, he just wants to get Soul Ring bottle travels as fast as possible. But as we said, Storm in the early game has to play perfectly so that his mana is enough to get kills and get out. So the Raindrops makes Cancel extra survival, giving him more chances to get the laser on the Storm and maybe even turn the fight around. Since you also don't have the Soul Ring, the mana regen is pretty good, and the rotations from the Earth Spirit keep being super effective, giving them another kill on the mid hero. A lot of people think it's from the Punch max laser and missile early because you're not going to farm as effectively, but that's false, especially when you know you have kill potential on the enemy. Storm has no kill potential on Cancel as long as he has the high level of laser, and so even if the Earth Spirit didn't rotate, he would still be farming lane, zoning Miracle out of it, and if you skip the Soul Ring, you can definitely finish travels at 10 minutes. In this game though, since Synderen was super active, he gets it even earlier than that. By having so much burst damage, Cancel wins the lane to himself, forcing Storm to jungle until he has level 6, or else he's just gonna get killed over and over again. Another thing that this Tinker build gives Cancel is ganking power, especially when it's the enemy team that started a fight. Since he's in lane, he doesn't have to spend any mana to be there, which means he's always ready to fight and he gets another kill top. You can see that he has no points in rearm, and while there are situations where rearm can be useful even without March, to rearm TPs for instance, as the game is right now, Cancel doesn't have to worry about it. Thanks to that arcane rune, he can get another kill on Miracle when he goes back, and this time it's a solo kill. Thanks to the high levels of laser and lower cooldown, combined with the extra lower cooldown of the arcane rune, look at what he does. Usually, Storms can dodge the missile with ball lightning, but not only Cancel gets super close, he waits for the Storm to be about to hit the range creep, giving no reaction time to him while denying the range creep CS. Now look what happens here. Miracle knows he's low HP, he knows that the laser is gonna be ready, but he believes that Cancel cannot kill him. What happens here is Miracle being overly confident but within reason. If you watch closely, Cancel checks Storm's HP, he has 368 HP. Laser deals 320 damage, and even with Arcane Rune, the missile is not ready yet. So Miracle thinks he can just secure the range creep and get out as long as he commits ball lightning for it. One attack, one deals so much damage to Miracle since Storm has a lot of armor, and as Storm disengages, Miracle was right. He has 331 HP and Laser only deals 320. The thing though is that Laser is pure damage and Intelligence now offers Spell Amp. I mean for a while now, but instead of 320 at level 7, with these items the Laser deals 333 damage, 2 extra HP than what Storm has, killing him. When you go for the non-March build early on, what you want to do is time your rearm with travels being completed, and in this game Cancel feels like he will complete the item at around level 9, learning his first March point at level 8. At this stage, Miracle understands that Cancel has 4 points in laser, and you will see throughout the entire game, Miracle never tries to dive him until the very end. Cancel does play quite defensively, and we will talk a lot about his playstyle, but it just goes to show that there are games where this build is the optimal one. Look what happens when the Storm tries to help Willow here. Although Cancel doesn't get another kill on him, the sheer burst damage of the hero completely dissuades Miracle to fight close to the Tinker. Even with Boots of Travel, Cancel never tried to farm camps, not only because his level of March will make that super ineffective compared to how much damage he can output in fight, but because camps are the loneliest and most dangerous area right now. He doesn't know if there's vision there, if 2 heroes jump him, he can get killed. He always played around the side lanes and around allies so that he will never be in a position where he can get jumped and there's no help. Another interesting thing to notice is how Cancel through many parts of the game committed laser to secure range creeps or siege creeps in lane, but once Storm has level 6 and he is nearby, you really need to pay attention on how you use the spell. Look at this clip. He marches the wave, but since the Storm is there, he does not go for it. With level 1 rearm, you take way too much to get another laser going, but he would rather have the Storm deny this creep than committing the laser. Only when the Storm is way farther away, he commits the laser, and he only TPs away being out of vision. This is a common mistake Tinkers do, but against mobile heroes, especially Storm that has a disable, you want to do that at all times. Try to TP when you're completely hidden. Cancel did mainly 2 things before his Blink Dagger and after travels. He would deep push waves and look for fights. In this clip, you can see how much time he spends waiting for something to happen. Unfortunately, the Necro dies, but this gives him 2 key info points. Everyone stops so he can push mid, giving him the safety for, let's say, committing a laser here. And here, but also to defend bottom later. See how he freely commits the laser when he knows Storm's not around? The only camp he constantly farmed was the large camp, and that's because it's one of the few that he can farm through the fog while being close to a tower and cleaning a wave at the same time. You can even position to farm the small camp here while you harass the enemy and clear your wave. Cancel just kept repeating this movement over and over again. This is usually known as the dead lane, but thanks to the way Tinker works and how much reach he has, he can actually defend the dead lane while also denying farm that would be tiniest, since most heroes would be afraid of being there. You can see that even now that Miracle is level 11, which is quite impressive considering how much he died and couldn't be in lane, Cancel still offer a big threat towards him. Sin dies, but gives Cancel another kill. When Cancel is farming bottom again, look how he constantly uses the fog to commit marches even though he's super far ahead. There's the chance of Tiny tossing someone plus Storm zipping being enough to kill him, so during the entire game he never made it clear to Miracle where he was, and because of that, and the fact that Storm is playing from behind, Miracle can't just waste mana to look for him, and Cancel keeps scaling in a game that maybe he shouldn't be. Cancel very rarely farm jungle. Here he goes for it since he has vision of Storm mid and doesn't want to risk being dove, even goes for the perfect time for a stack, but more importantly, since he has vision of Miracle mid, he can aid in this fight bottom, and look how he approaches the fight. There are 2 targets that could be easily killed with a laser, but he blinks defensively, only committing the missile. As he chases, that keeps repeating itself. Later on, as he's pushing bottom, look how instead of TPing to the creeps, he slowly lurks around with blink rearms so that the storm can never foresee his exact location by, well, seeing, okay, he's TPing to this creep, he's going to be around this area. All of these minor details add up to Cancel not dying one time this entire game. One little change up that Cancel also goes for this game, and I associate that with him being so far ahead, is the Dagon before Aetherlands. The usual build against Storms is going Aetherlands, Cast Range Talon, and the Side of Ice, so not only you have a lot of disengage into the Storm, you have the control over him with the Scythe. In this game, he skips the Aetherlands and gets the Dagon. Since Miracle is playing this game from behind, he wants to rely on that and snowball even further. So I don't recommend you to go Dagon first after Blink unless you're winning as hard as Cancel is right now, but look how Cancel wants to force this rotation here since he knows a lot of heroes are dead. He can easily close the gap with no fear. Storm relies heavily on the cast point of Ball Lightning, and the Dagon build just makes it extra hard for Miracle to disengage since the damage comes so fast. The next item he goes for is usually quite popular versus Spectre, but there's a bunch of heroes that get countered hard by Ghost Scepter and Tinker. Their 1 and 2 rely heavily on right clicks, and that's why Cancel max laser, but if your Scepter gets ready, or if BKB gets ready, the Ghost Scepter is another 2 to allow him to get another rearm blink out, or even to turn the fight around later. This is another great showing of Cancel using the fog to confuse the Storm. He TPs to the fight, missiles without using blink, and doesn't even bother about the laser. He blinks into the fog while he constantly plays around the fight with missiles. Then he can refill and rejoin the fight since he ended up away from it, and now the 2 heroes are already dead, he can actually play less passive and just blinks forward. Another important thing to know about Tinker that some players don't know about is how good he is at taking Roshan. Not only he creates a perimeter around the area that makes it very hard for the enemy to engage on you, you can perma-blind Roshan while dealing pure damage, making it quite easy for any team to go for it. Another underused blink spot for Tinkers is high ground cliffs, especially when your team has a sentry there. Cancel quickly uses it, and look how he never blinks towards the line that his allies are using to close the gap. He always finds spots where he has enough range to commit his spells while being out of vision. The push gets quite easy since the march is very hard to find into, and even when he goes mid to defend against this wave, he TPs and marks in fog to always be safe. I hope I was clear enough on how much Cancel uses the fog for this game. For instance, as he TPs mid here, he could just commit all of the spells on the Tiny, but he would rather blink in the trees first. He never wants the possibility of Dire clicking on him, and you can see how that allows him to disengage before the Storm gets there. Not only that, he kills the Draw later. You can see the power of the Dagon against a hero like Draw, since the silence does not fully stop your damage dealing, and this is pretty much game. Guys, thank you very much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I just want to tell you about my new Patreon. I've been trying to tune my Patreon for a long time, and you guys know how much I'm into casting right now, and I'm into trying to support myself until I get more gigs. For now, I'm still trying as much as possible to get noticed, to get called to an event, but it didn't happen, and I'm offering to cast your games on my Patreon. So, I don't know, if you guys are interested, if you want to support myself, if maybe you cannot sub to Twitch, if maybe you don't have Amazon Prime, that could be a different way of actually helping me and also getting something out of it. I do have a Twitter, I talk memes and Dota there. I also have a Twitch where I cast and play games. And yeah, there's an Instagram and a Discord channel that you can visit. Thank you all for being here. I love you guys. Bye.